most anticipated video of the year is what books did I like so much at the end of this year. We are not going over most disappointing and most like my top 10 like books I want to not remember that I read. One, like, I try to keep this channel as positive, and two, we would be here longer than my favorite books of the year. It has not been a good year for my reading. I feel like in the past I've given a lot more, at least 4 stars. Like, I felt like I was giving a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s. And 2s is like you were grammatically correct. Like it was readable. A 1, if I'm giving you a 1, like, this shouldn't have, like, your editor needed to do a few more rounds. Like, a 2 is like, okay, but you have still, and then like a 3 is like, okay, like, I can give you credit, but a 4 is like, I had a good time, but there's something missing. And a 5 is like, you're brilliant. So these are like my 5 stars. These are my brilliant books. And there's not many. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about them in kind of author order. There's a couple single books in here. But I have The Atlas Complex and Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I love how Olivia Blake writes her characters. They are super unlikable. You're not going to like a single person in these books. But they're at a moment in time where it's like you understand. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I think people walk into these books not understanding, like, that's the point. You're not supposed to like these people. Just off of, reviews I've heard and everything. And you're either gonna like it or you're not. That is just how I kind of see her writing is you're either gonna like these characters because of all their flaws, or you're just gonna be like, no, that's taking me out of the story. And especially if you did not like Atlas 6, Atlas Complex just expands the world, like, and there's a little bit of character development. The characters don't really change too much. I feel like they grow intellectually, but I don't think they grow as people. And kind of the same thing with this. Like, I think he always has the mystery of this girl, but that kind of affects their relationship and stuff. So it's Olivia Blake's mind is really interesting. And you're gonna like it or you're not. Is kind of my whole thing spill on that. And then I finally started the second, I think it's called a saga at this point. Second saga of Red Rising, Iron Gold by Pierce Brown, which I am hopefully at least gonna finish Dark Age, if not Lightbringer. I'm like looking down at those books and they're huge. This is about Darrow. He starts out low class, works his way up, becomes a gold, and he this whole second saga is about his power corruption. And what happens when you actually win the war, but, things happen and everything. And Pierce Brown does such a good job of just taking us on that journey. And showing us characters that have also been affected by Darrow's choices, and it's really devastating. Some of the perspectives that are newer that we just meet, and what they survived because of Darrow's actions. So it's also trying to figure out, like, okay, is Darrow too corrupted now? Are we, as the reader that fell in love with Darrow in the first trilogy, are we wrong? Or are they just not seeing the whole story and we know the whole story? And Pierce Brown takes us on that journey so well. And I think it's an important story too, because it brings in that political side that I think we get in sci-fi, but I know when I came into Red Rising myself, I only thought sci-fi was like Dune, which is very, very complicated. I started watching the movie and it was like going over my head. And then you have Star Wars, and then you have Star Trek, and you just think that's what sci-fi is. But Pierce Brown has kind of given us like a bridge between fantasy and sci-fi and that political realm. And I thank him so much for that, because he's opened my eyes to a whole different genre of like this political sci-fi that I really like. So, have to give him that. I have. A Curse Carved in Bone by Daniel L. Jensen. I've not read anything else by this author, so I feel a little uncomfortable saying she's definitely in the top 5 romantasy authors that I have read from. That are like heavy romantasy and not like urban fantasy smashed with. The way she writes Freya is beautiful. And the way she understands this culture. It's like so what this is it's a romantasy in Viking lore. She's a shield maiden, which is like a Valkyrie. Not necessarily, they're warrior women. Valkyries are warrior women that are also, but they're like more the creatures. But I can tell she did her research, and I could tell like how she wrote the main love interest in this book, that she really understood how men saw women in the Viking and Norwegian period that this is set in. Because it's a very different way than what the English and I think Scots and Irish are a little bit similar to Vikings, where it seems like the women rule the house, where English, which is where most of America is from, they believe the opposite. Yes, the women rule the house, but the man takes out everything else, and women don't have any rights. Where in Viking culture, yes, you were still expected to hold the duty as a woman, but you were also allowed to carry a sword. And you were also allowed, like, a divorce. Like, so it's a very feminist culture in that way. And she just did such a beautiful job of portraying that in a romantasy setting. And I love this so much. I want to read her other series, but I want to see if I can find them at the library to make sure I actually, like, this wasn't just like a one and done thing. And then my beauties. And I'm not just saying that because I love this story so much. I got the special editions from Emily McRae, and I love these. This is the same series. Dragon Republic and The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. And then and then the Poppy War, even though it's not on my list, but oh my god, that's so pretty. Okay. I love a good anti-hero story. And I feel like I'm gonna have to look up her name. I feel like that's what the main character of this series is. Me getting another copy of Poppy War. Oh, Ren. So, Ren starts off as a poor girl in China. I think it's rural China. And fantasy rural China because she ends up having the power of the Phoenix. But anyway, sorry guys. She is the most anti-hero of anti-heroes. Like, she is not, like, she does good things for a good cause, but sometimes it just backfires on her. Like, her power just sometimes overwhelms her too much, and it gets out of control, and she just loses it. And I think that is something that, sorry guys, that power corruption is something also that we kind of deal with in Red Rising with Darrow, like gaining all his power. Like, how much power can one person have before it totally corrupts? And that's kind of what Poppy War really does explore. And I think it's so important to be able to write something like that. I read the third book probably 2 nights before these special editions were supposed to come out. Because I was afraid, everybody's going to want them. I think they're still on sale, guys, if you want to grab yourselves a copy of these pretty editions. But yeah, it was such a good, beautiful story. The ending was perfect. I can tell you if you're worried, I don't think she's gonna be writing anymore. I won't spoil it, but I think we're only getting a trilogy. But I read Calabasas recently, and I was really disappointed with that, but a lot of people were really disappointed with that. And a lot of people that loved Poppy War still did like Babel. So, and Yellowface, which I have both. So I still have hope for R.F. Kuang that I will still like her. I really do hope that the Poppy War wasn't just a fluke and she's actually an author that I can auto buy from. Olivia Blake kind of really lost it for me. I will probably read all her old stuff because I have it. I read January's this year and The Gifted Ones. I did not like those. And the Gifted Ones was 2 stars, and then January's I think I gave 3 just because of how short, and I'm a little bit more generous when it comes to short stories like that. But and then I saw that she wrote another one. I'm just I used to be Olivia Blake, okay, auto buy, and auto buy all these special editions, and I'm looking at my special editions you better be good. Because you're gonna be sold if you're not. Another kind of thing I wanted to end with is this just shows me how important it is to like, not give, like, backlist fantasy, sci-fi. Like, don't put it in a corner. Like, don't put baby in a corner. And I feel like there's points in my life where it's like, I want the new shiny fantasy that everybody's reading. And, you know, you get FOMO and you're just like, I want to be part of the discussion and everything. And then it's like, I read Poppy War, which I think is a pretty old book. Let me see here. 2018, so it's actually not as old of a book as 2017, 2018. To me, were the good times, because that series was really good. I don't know what happened after 2020 after. But it just, and it also influences the way I, like, look at book boxes. I canceled my Illumicrate this year. I am no longer, getting their boxes. There's things I've been hearing. I'm not going to repeat, but, I might, if there's, like, a special edition, I might jump on their website and maybe try to get my fingers on maybe a special edition box or two. But I don't want to pay, like, their subscription. And I don't want, they just lowered their monthly thing. So I'm just like, no, I'll just cancel. And then if you guys bring something out I'm interested in, that I want, like, I think they did so well with the Poppy War books. I think they were so well done and everything. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a pretty outside, but if the inside's not pretty, then it's like I look at some of my books and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with them if I'm only gonna give them 1 star? And it's just this interesting, like, phenomenon that, you know, us readers, and I'm sorry this is so long, us readers have, like, fallen into, is like just this consumerism. And I'm like, yeah, but there's good books. And that's what I've kind of, like, I was kind of bummed out that I only had, like, 5 books that were 5 stars for, like, a whole year. Now, am I going to read Dark Age and Lightbringer and give those 5 stars? Yeah, but then, like, we'll just have 3 extra books from the same series and it doesn't make any sense. So I filmed this right now. I'm not expecting anything else really to come up. I am doing kind of a big, huge kind of purge video with my 26 on 26, where I'm allowing all the DNFing. If I am not vibing with the book, DNF, it's going on my Pango. And I will start linking my Pango in my videos, especially for the purge of I'm going to call it the purge of 2025. It's really my books of 2025, but it feels like a purge. That way you can kind of go down there and shop to your heart's content. I am right now half pricing some of my special editions that I've put in there. So if you are interested at all, my books, not to brag, are usually in pretty good condition unless I got it secondhand. And I will price it as such. Yeah, I will just start putting that Pango link in my description. and you guys can do whatever you want with it. I appreciate it. It goes into my personal savings, and I do use it usually for books or other things for my other channel, which is my Books and Diamonds, which I will also link down below, which is my diamond art channel that I just discussed this painting behind me. So if you're into any of that and you've stuck around for 20 minutes, it will all be down below. I'm a pretty fair seller, so if you message me and you want pictures, because I'm still learning how to use Pango, so just be aware of that. Just shoot me a message on Pango. Just be like, hey, I need more info, and I will be right on it. Yeah, but if you like and subscribe, books on Sundays, other media on Thursdays, and I will see you in a video coming real soon. Bye.